Yes. Welcome to Come Well to another episode, another doorway, another portal entitled Am I as I am, as you are. Today we're going to be touching upon a topic called What is a diet? What is this thing that we call a diet? Um, Before I go into this lesson and this teaching and the sharing, um, I'm going to be touching upon the word diet, not according to the understanding, the mundane and surface understanding of what a diet is, which is just food and eating and the human body to that degree. This is going to be going more into a metaphysical, occult, esoteric understanding of where this word diet derives from. Where does it come from? Uh, what other word or words is it connected to or sound like or look like? Because it is connected and correlated with other intertwinings of definitions and descriptions that are almost has nothing to do with the word diet itself. Okay. Also, before we go into the sharing and this lesson, to understand where I'm going with this and what this episode is based on, what the foundation of the understanding of the word diet and this episode is based on, you have to take a glimpse into the ancient mind and the ancient way of living, or the antiquities, or the times of antiquity, when we were more at a primal level, which means that we were more naturally in tuned. We had a more natural intelligence with the known and the unknown specifically, or the hidden or the unseen, the invisible, the intangible, the transparent, or the intelligence and communication of transparency. And at those times of antiquity, and that more primal stage of existence and experience as a being given this human body to have this experience that we call life, there was a lot of private, silent, quiet times that were held within one's life as they navigated throughout their human or physical experience in this third dimension, which is known as third density. Um, so, as one is by their self in private, in silence, in stillness, alone, going on journeys, um, explorings, discoveries of this reality that we call human life in the modern day term. With this privacy and this sacredness of one to oneself, there was a lot of internalization happening, which means that there wasn't so much outside or external distraction, which means that one was more internal. One was more in tune and connected with their mind and their inner body, the most innate and most insidious intelligence of this inner vehicle. There wasn't so many outside interferences, too many interruptions besides human survival. So one had a lot to be inside of dark spaces, alone spots, um, traveling and journeying across this reality, that they were very internal beings. This is where you get the sprouting or the growing of what we know as an underground priesthood, or according to the Olmecs, the Akin, or according to the ancient Kemetians, who you know as modern day Egyptians, you had the Hemnichertepi. And the Hemnichertepi were an underground ancient priesthood, like a secret society. And the secret societies were very internalized beings. And they internalized a lot of what they seen as external, because they seen that the external was just a physical representation of a spiritual reference which was happening inside of them internally. So they closed their eyes a lot, they were in darkness a lot, they were in secluded areas, isolated areas, and they went inside a lot because that's what life handed them at that time. life handed them the acknowledgement of the inside or the internal or the innate or the insidious connection interaction to come back up to surface with what they caught, with what they received from these hidden, dark, unknown, unseen knowings. So I say that to say this is that once again, when I touch upon the word diet and what it means and where it derived from or what it's connected to or what it correlates with, it correlates to a more esoteric, metaphysical, occult, hidden, unseen aspect and gnosis of understanding. Okay? The last resort or the end product is food and eating. So this is touching upon the more biological aspect as well as a metaphysical aspect. Meta meaning transcendence or that beyond. Physical means the physical world. So metaphysical is that which transcends beyond the physical appearance. Okay? That which is transparent beyond the apparent. So I'm going to be touching upon the word diet and what it means from a metaphysical, occult, esoteric point of view, but tying it into the biological aspect and understanding of what this means. And it gets real micro. Okay, I'm going to tie it into a few mythologies as well and certain things. It's going to be straight to the cut, straight to the point, clear cut. Okay, so as we begin, those who are familiar with this channel, you already know how this goes and how we grow. Those who ain't, what I do is I go line for line with the lines that I wrote. I call doorway after doorway. I open up these lines, open up these doors, open up these doorway after doorway, and together we both walk down this hallway of gnosis and learning, understanding. Okay, so the first line is a diet. What is a diet? Diet is the word dietary. And dietary is connected to the word deity. So a diet is a deity. What do I mean by this? What is a deity? A deity is something of divine status or divinity, quality, or nature. That's the definition. The metaphysical occult understanding of it is the diving entity or the entity which dives where? Which dives into the system through the mouth and the esophagus. It is a deity. Your diet is your deity. Your customized deity that you customize for your being. Okay? The next line this is definitions of deity. The creator and supreme being, what a deity is. The metaphysical occult understanding is that which creates itself into something else within a system, kind of like a systematic like intelligence, which in the biological understanding, it is nutrient extraction, which is energy transformation. Nutrient extraction into energy transformation. So it is the creator and the supreme being. What is it creating? It's creating within a supreme being. The supreme being or supreme being meaning you. And it is the creator or the creating aspect of nutrient extraction into energy transformation. So that crossover is the creating crossover. Now remember, keep in mind of the word deity. Diet, dietary, deity. Okay? And when you get nutrient extraction and which turns into energy transformation, this is what biologists or people who deal in the field of health and nutrition call alimentation. Okay? Or a dispensing of the alloys throughout the body, which is nothing but, once again, energy transformation, nutrient extraction, energy conversion, energy transformation. Right? But there's an intelligence which is taking place there because obviously it knows what to do. It has an order, it has a purpose, and it knows what to do. It is a deity. It is an intelligence beyond what this brain can fathom. Okay? The next thing is it is a god or goddess, deity, a god or goddess. It just means when you understand the definition of God, I don't know how many people worship a god. There's nothing, I have nothing against it, nothing for it as well. But when you look at the word God, the definition is deity. Okay? When you look deeper into deeper mythological and deeper ancient texts and ancient scripts, the deity wasn't something to be worshipped. It was something that was worshipped, but by a person of gnosis and higher knowledge and higher wisdom of self, they knew not to worship this thing because the more they worship this thing, the more they remain in this physical body. And this is why you have the jealous God or this and that, because they want your attention. Your attention is life. So in order for us to not give this life so much attention, we didn't want to give attention to a God, to a deity, because it's actually a kind of succubant or an incubus or parasite that only exists here in this realm, whether you call it outside of you or whether it's brewing inside of you. We knew not to worship these things because it just takes from us and doesn't give to us. But it's neither wrong nor right. This is just how it functions here in this life. Okay? We are something which is in between. We're not a god. We're not a deity. We're something in between. And I'm going to get into that more later on in the video. Another definition of a deity is a supernatural being. Metaphysical occult understanding of it means something which can be within nature but thrives beyond it. Something which can be found within nature but thrives beyond nature because it has a more higher purpose around you and within you. Okay? Another definition of deity is sacredness. Now, that's tied into the sacrum bone or the sacrum, which is a part of your spine, and it's a part of the root chakra. It's a very root entity. A deity is a rooted entity, which is why it keeps you eating, because it lives or resides in the sacred area in the sacrum, which is once again the root chakra, the red. This is where you get devil, demon, deity, why the devil is so-called red or depicted as this red being with horns. It's the root chakra. It's where the demon or the domain is at, where the deities and the gods reside. Okay, so this is your diet. Once again, tying it back to diets. Diets is deity. It's your dietary behavior. And it's also the place where food finds its way out of the system. The root chakra being the sex organ and the anal canal or the rectum. That is where the root chakra is at. Also to understand, the word diet is also the word duat. Now those that understand ancient Egyptian spiritual systems and understandings or ancient Commission gnosis, the duat is known as the underworld. Now, before I get into this understand before we go any further. This reality which you call life, according to the Gnosticism and Gnosis and the Gnostics, which were the ones who are the master internalizers, the internalization, that primal mind, that ancient being, that time of antiquity, where one was with their self, to their self, within their self. That one which was alone most of the time, or journeying by their self, or find themselves in a cavern, or a mountain, or secluded or isolated space, and was just in darkness and was within their mind and within their body. This is where all this comes from. So this is where we have to derive or bring all this back to. Okay? according to that understanding, you have something called a demiurge, a god, and a deity. Now, if we know that these people were internalizers and masters of internalization, then all they meant was the body, the body, the body, the body. The mind, the mind, the mind, the mind. Spirit, 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 spirit. They meant just the immediate, just them themselves, just the oneness that they were, and had to figure out what the hell this thing was about just by their self, within their self. So what they said was, this is a realm created by the demiurge. The demiurge is the creator of the universe and the worlds, which means it had an agenda. The God, which we call gods, but we're not gods to that degree, but let's just say that we are, you are a god. So you have the demiurge, which creates the universe, the cosmos, and the world. You have the God inside of the world, and then you have the deities which reside inside of the God. So you have the demiurge, the God, which is you, and the deities which reside inside of the God that is surrounded by the agenda of the demiurge. Okay? Now, when you look at it in the Moorish knowledge, gnosis, and wisdom and understanding, you have heaven, earth, hell. Heaven, which is the crown chakra. Earth, which is the heart, because you have compassion for it, you love it here, you like it here. And hell, which is the intestines and the stomach and the guts. So this was known as hell. This was known as the heart or the earth, and this was known as heaven, which was the mind, not the brain, but the mind. And there's a two-way understanding of that as well. But that's why the earth, if you re-scramble the letters or you take the H at the end of earth and put it on the beginning of it, you get the word heart. So earth and heart is one and the same. Heart and earth is one and the same. So you have heaven, then you have the earth, then you have hell, which is known as the underworld. And this is when you take it back to Egyptian mythology or Commission gnosis, deep hidden gnosis, that the Amenta, the underworld, was known also as Amenta. This is the underworld, because if this is earth and this is world, what's underneath the earth and world is hell, which is known as the Amenta, which is the guts, the intestine, the stomach, everything else here inside the body. Now, when you get the word Amenta, underworld, you get a biological connection of a word called the omentum. The omentum is a skin which covers around the stomach and the organs and the intestines, and that's called the omentum. This is where the word omentum comes from. The word omentum comes from the understanding and the word amenta or amenta, which was amenta. So this is the underworld, the amenta, the omentum, which covers the organs, which covers the grotesque, the blood, the guts. This covers the grotesque. Okay, so once again, the demiurge, God, you, and the deities which reside within it. Heaven, earth, which is the heart, and hell, which is where the devil and the demon and the deities reside. So there's no demon or devil outside somewhere underneath some ground or some grass. They were talking to you of these mythological creatures and figures as things that resided within the body and within the mind of the being. Okay, I just want you to understand it before we go further. So the duat, which is the word diet, the same thing, diet is your duat, which is why your food ends up here in the underworld, because your diet is your duat. You eat and the food resides, it goes past the earth, the heart pumps, and the earth circulates it throughout the hells from your heavenly thinking that you're healthy and you're great and you're pure and you're whatever. You're still a god trapped in between deity and demiurge. It doesn't matter. And you're getting pulled from both directions all the time because this intelligence has a purpose beyond you and this intelligence has a purpose here, which has you trapped in the middle as the person or the human being that you think you are. Okay, so you're basically at a divine tug of war. Okay. Let's get back to lesson. The duat, the diet. Duat is also duo, and duo is the duodenum. See, I'm tying this word diet to dietary, to deity, to also to duat. The duat or dua, how they pronounce dua, because the T is silent. When you say it with the ancestral tongue or the antiquitous tongue, you say dua. And the dua is the duo. And duo means two, right? And so duo is the duodenum. Now, if you know anything about biology, once again, the diet, the duat, the duo, the duodenum, it ties back into the biology of the body, of the human being, of the human body, or the physical vessel, or the physical vehicle. These things that were perceived as an outward thing are actually an internal thing. There's nothing outside of you. Everything is all inside of you. Mind is all and all is mind. Okay? So the duo is the duodenum, and the duodenum is the part of the small intestine that it continues the digestion process with a mixture of food and gastric acid. So the duat, once again, where the deities reside, in the hell is the duodenum attached to the small intestine. And that is a mixture of two things, food and gastric acid. When it leaves the large intestine and it goes into the small intestine, before it goes into the small intestine that spews out from the side of the stomach, it's a mixture of food and gastric acid that passes through the smaller intestine. This is what is your duodenum, which is the word duo, which is the understanding of the duat, the underworld or the underbelly, the below, which is why you have a belly, because belly is bellow, and bellow is the word below. Okay, I'm tying everything back to something metaphysical, something occult, and something biological. There's nothing, no characters, no figures, no monsters, no creatures outside of you. They all reside inside of this human soup bowl, which what we call a body, a skin vessel. Okay. Now the duat's definition of the duat's is the underworld, which is what we talked about, which is nothing a metaphysical and occult understanding of the underworld, and a biological tying into it is the underwhirling intelligence, that which whirls. Whirls is just a spinning or a circle, and it's spinning and circling through the large intestine, through the duodenum, spewing from the stomach, through the smaller intestine. It's a spewing, it's a whirling. So the underworld is the underworld. So instead of underworld, remember the earth is world or planet, if you want to call it earth, world, planet, however you identify with that. It's underworld. So it's the under or the whirling that happens underneath the world or the earth or the heart, which is once again the gut, the guts, the belly, the intestine, the stomach. Okay? So it's the underwhirling intelligence, the intestines. And don't you understand why they call this a second brain, or they call your stomach a second brain? Is because the intestines is also connected to the word intentions. So your intestine is your intention. You have an intention to consume something, and it digests within the intention. So you have a thought, an intention to consume, you consume, and it goes to the intestine. Intention, intestine, intention. Stay here, stay immediate, stay here and now in the present moment within the body to understand where I'm going with this. Another definition of the duat or the dua, according to, once again, Commissionosis or Egyptian spiritual systems of understanding. It is the star within the circle. You see a symbol of a star, a five-pointed star within a circle. The metaphysical occult understanding of that, it is the cycle or the cycling through the body, which are the chambers of deity, or the chambers which deity resides within. The 5 points of a star. The 5 points of the star within the circle, the 5 points of it represent the 5 elements, not 4 elements, but the 5 elements, which keeps you bound in this physical reality, enjoying this body. And these 5 elements are fire, air, earth, water, and the fifth one. Without this fifth one, there would be no one element. Do you know what that fifth one is? Well, let me give it to you. Fire, air, earth, water, and time. Time is the fifth element. Without time, there would be no fire. Without time, there would be no air. Without time, there would be no earth. And without time, there would be no water. Things couldn't grow, things couldn't expand, things couldn't move without time being the first element. Fire, air, earth, water, and time. These are the 5 elements or the 5 points on the star which moves through the circle or the cycling in between the large intestine and the smaller intestine and whatever arteries or veins that you have flowing through your body or going or stretching or expanding through the body as the blood and the water and the hydrogen, things of that nature, flow through it. And these elements are being orchestrated inside of the governing of time. They're being orchestrated to keep you in the physical body and to keep this damn physical illusion going. Okay? The Omenta, once again, the Amenta, which is Amenta, Amenta, is the omentum, which is the stomach abdomen. Another definition of the dua or the duat is the souls or solar continuance. Now, what do you call your second chakra? Oh no, pardon me. What do you call your third chakra? Your third chakra is called the solar plexus. So the duat, the underworld, the dua, the underworld. Remember duat, dietary, deity, diet, duat, the dua. The dua, another definition of dua is the soul's continuance. So you have a solar plexus. These are where the souls reside, in the solar plexus. Remember, I'm tying everything back. This word diet, I'm tying it back to something which is more expansive, has a more broad understanding about it. Mythological, biological, esoteric understanding, metaphysical understanding, occult aspect of it, of how our primal minders, our progenitors, genetic progenitors thought and lived and existed in this illusional experience that we call life, in this dying vehicle that we call a human body. And how is it dying? What is it going through? What's going on inside of it? What's transpiring inside of it? This is the codes to crack it, to understand certain things. So these entities or these creatures, they actually are things that reside inside of you. Okay? Another understanding or definition of the dua is a residence where gods reside as the soul passes through to make its way towards its judgment. I.e., the intestinal tract. Now, bringing it to a mythological understanding or mythological tying into what's going on, you have the organs. You have organs in your body. Organs, when you look at Greek mythology, um, which is nothing but an understanding of a black spiritual system which was internalized, which was meant to be internalized, but became externalized as characters and stories and tales and all this other stuff. The organs were uh, the argons. Okay, the word argo, which is connected to the word in pronunciation of undergo or the undergoing or the going under. Now, when you understand the story of Jason and the Argonauts, because this is tied to the story of the organs, the Argons are the organs, and Jason and the Argonauts, Jason and the 12 Argonauts, to be specific. Um, this deals with the digestion process of argon or organic energy, which is nothing but a gas. And argon is a gas within the atmosphere. It's one of the three main primal gases in our atmosphere. Um, and the body expels the gas. So argon is a gas on the elemental table. It's a noble gas, one of the three most abundant gases in our atmosphere that supports the sustainment of the gas within natural organic elements, or natural organic foods, or things, or life forms. Um, when it is in the body, it becomes the releasing of the argon. So when you can, if you know anything about digestion, when you consume something, the first thing that digests is not the food or the liquid. The first thing that digests inside the body is gas. So digestion does not occur in the stomach or the intestine first. Digestion occurs within the lungs. Why? Because when you consume food or anything of solid or liquid, this body, which is a gaseous body, you are a gaseous being, which is why you're a light being. Think about light, gas, light. So it takes the gas from the food. This is how that burger or those fries or that sandwich or whatever you're consuming turns into a mush. It gets squashed and transforms into a different texture, into a different material. So this is the expelling of the gas, the releasing of the gas from the food and the liquids. So digestion actually occurs in the lungs first. It does not occur in the stomach. It does not occur in the intestines first. The lungs expel and release the gas or the argon, the organic energy, the organic energy, okay, from the organic atmosphere, which is where, once again, you get Jason and the 12 Argonauts. And the 12 Argonauts are nothing but the 12 zodiacal celestial bodies and the 12 body systems within the human body. You have 12 body systems that are connected to 12 zodiacal constellations or 12 zodiac signs, which is where you get the 12 tribes, you get the 12 anything. These are esoteric, internalized teachings and gnosis and knowings of wisdom, things that reside inside of your body, not a people or a tale or a mythology. These are things that are actually internal. Okay? This is why one of the true gnosis of understanding, one who was a deep thinker or a deep diver into the metaphysical gnosis of self and knowledge of self and dealt with spirituality, which was self-reflection, knew that all these things resided within their self. They knew that none of these characters existed outside, and all this was to be transpired and to be unfolded within, to synthesize to the deepest, most innate, most insidious aspect of their self, to pull out that true gnosis or knowledge of self. Okay? So this argon, Jason and the 12 Argonauts in the 12 body systems. Now, when you look at the story or the mythology of Jason and the 12 Argonauts, the enemies of the Argonauts were the Hydras. Tying that back into biology from a mythological standpoint of view, the organic energy or the argons, the 12 argonauts, the enemies of the 12 argonauts were a creature or these creatures or these things, these skeletal-like figures with swords and all kind of things, serpent-looking things. They were called the hydras. Bringing it to a biological standpoint of view, from a mythological looking at it, the biological connection means it's the hydrogen. The hydras are the hydrogen within the body. The hydrogen, basically, if I was to give you a biological conversation, the hydrogen was the enemy of the organic gas in the atmosphere. So the hydras were the enemy of the 12 argonauts. See where this is going? 12 body systems, enemies of the argonauts were the hydras, i.e. hydrogen. Because hydrogen helps move the organic gas within and throughout the body to once again recycle back through it by breathing it in. Okay? And when you know anything about organic gas or argon gas, it creates reactive elements. This is why you become reactive. You become a supreme vegetarian or supreme vegan or an insane meat eater, because these argons, this gas that is a reactive element, you turn into the nature of it. If you understand anything about the mind influence of the body influence of the mind, the psychology reflects the biology, and the biology reflects the psychology. This is one and the same. Hell and heaven, heaven and hell work together. There is no separation between it besides earth. And earth basically is the projection of both heaven and hell. There would be no heaven and hell without the earth first being there. And I always give this example with people in the present moment. You can think about the future, you can think about the past. But the future and the past don't exist without the present moment, without you presently thinking it in this moment. So the moments or the present moment is both mommy and daddy of past and future. Just like the earth is both mommy and daddy of heaven and hell, because heaven and hell are connected. They are one thing which reside inside of you. Heaven cannot operate without hell. Hell cannot operate without heaven. The mind cannot operate without the intestines and the guts. The guts and intestines cannot operate without the brain. There is no upper without a lower. There is no lower without an upper. But the whole myth to be cracked, the whole code to be cracked, and the myth to understand is what is that is in the middle. And that which is in the middle is you. I don't want to veer too far away from the word diet. We're just touching upon two words that are connected to the word diet so far. Deity and duat. Deity and duat, or dua. And both of these things have something to do with sentient, intelligent, conscious creatures that exist inside of this vehicle that keep you bound through a diet. Through a diet. Through a diet. They're keeping you bound. They are your anchor. They are your argon, your anchor that's keeping you anchored. The deity and the demiurge have you trapped in the middle. I don't give a damn what diet you have and how good or how bad you think you're eating or consuming. You are still nothing but food for them. This is why you do not think yourself as something special or great or precious or the healthiest or the worst condition, whatever it may be. This high and mighty and self-aggrandizement is a damn illusion. Because this is a filth machine. Once you understand this body, it's an eating mechanism that gets eaten from, which is what we call self-defecation, which is known as fasting. It's a body eating itself. This is the deities eating each other. And this is when you hear that growling in the stomach, or that roar or that growling are the deities battling for supremacy over each other to see who is going to take control of you. in what direction according to its agenda and its purpose to keep you trapped within the almighty demiurge, the creator of the universe, the cosmos, and the planets in the world, and this damn human body, to keep you as a thing just having an experience and a life to exist in the middle to give it life because it does not exist without you. And what you are, you're not a god. You are a master transcender. You are transcendence. You transcend beyond this flesh. You were prior to this flesh and you transcend beyond it. But while you're here in this thing called life, the demiurge and the deities work together to keep you here as long as they possibly can. Even if it makes you think that you're special, or makes you think you're a piece of shit, or you're no good, or you're the greatest, or you're the smartest, or you're the healthiest. Doesn't mean anything. It just means that they got you moving from one damn diet to another. I don't eat meat no more. Who gives a shit? I don't like vegetables. Who gives a damn? No matter where you move, what slot you groove within, it's right there to supply your every need and your every deed. You cannot escape it in this reality. Okay? So that's it of the understanding of Jason and the Argonauts. Now, when you go back again to another understanding of the word dua, which is the underworld, the duat, the duo, connected to the duodenum, the biology, the small intestine, you have something, a lord which resides over it. Now, this is one of the gods according to ancient Cometian, which is what you know as, or antiquitous Cometian peoples, which is what you know as ancient Egyptian people. And this god that they worship, one of the gods that ruled the underworld or the dua or Amenta, was known as Osiris. Osiris was Lord of the Dead. Lord of the dead what? The dead food or the dying food. Because no matter whether you're a vegetarian or a meat eater, you're still eating something which is already dead. I don't care how pretty, how colorful, how good it smells, how nice it looks. That's a part of the illusion to keep you in the Maya, to keep you in between the demiurge and the deity. You see? So Osiris is a god that rules the dua or rules the amenta, the omentum, or that which is behind the curtain of the omentum, which are the guts and the small intestine and the large intestine and the stomach. See? So when you close the curtain, it's the omentum. When you open the curtain of the omentum, you have the guts. Okay? And this is the amenta or the duat or the amenta. And the Lord that rules over that was known as Osiris. The dua is broken into many different layers. This is what the dua is broken into. It's broken into 4 different layers. The abyss, the river of night, the land of the dead, and the land of demons. Now, in this land of demons or the land of the dead, or the river of the nights, or the abyss, you have something called the serpent monster. The serpent monster resides in the duat. The serpent monster is one of the many grotesque creatures within the duat, including Apep. Apep is also a creature within the duat. In Apep, you have a peptide. Now, you know anything about peptide? Peptide is something that is a molecule which has 2 amino acids seeking to be a protein, which once again, proteins, minerals, nutrients, they reside within the body. Apep is peptide. The duo are the 2 amino acids connected to 2 amino acids, same understanding, that this molecule is seeking to become a protein through the intelligence of a peptide, Apep being one of the creatures that resides within the serpent monster. The serpent is known as your intestines. It's a serpent. Okay? So, and when you look at Osiris, or just you take Cyrus off of the name Osiris, the Siris, you get the word Saurus. Saurus. And Saurus is in a dictionary definition, it's reptile, reptilian, reptoid, which is once again the intestines. So the serpent monster is one of the monsters that reside within the duat, which is within the amenta, within the underworld, within the stomach, within the chemicals of the inner body, the internalization. You have the serpent monster. Um, The serpent, once again, is the intestines. Osiris being lord of the underworld, which is the saurus. The saurus being the reptile, reptilian, or reptoid. So when you look at mythology, any reptile, any snake, any lizard, any dragon, any serpent is always known and perceived and depicted as and looked at as the intestine, the large intestine and the small intestine, the guts, because when you take it out without my stomach and the momentum, it looks like a snake, or it looks like a serpent, or it looks like the tail or the body of a dragon or a lizard. That's what your intestines look like. This is the serpent. This is the dragon. This is the monster. This is the lizard. This is the snake. In any mythological tales. Because mythology is actually biology and spiritual aspects of understanding, spiritual concepts for the metaphysical mind. Okay? So now we have the understanding of that at that aspect. Now, another way of looking at certain things, the next line and or doorway is the feces, which what we call feces. We let the body lets go of feces. The feces are the faces of the deities. And the faces of the deities, which are monsters, right? So they're basically the disgust, the foul, the grotesque, the physical nature and physical processes of human life and human biology. These are the feces that are let out, the grotesque, the faces of the deities, which is of your diet. Your diet sooner or later lets go of feces. And it's a feces, it's a gross, disgusting, grotesque thing. Once you understand what gross just means accumulation, or gross means a collection or a gathering of a lot of something. This body is known as gross matter. Now you see, make the connection of why they kind of seen human life or the human biology as a defilement to their divine nature. They weren't a fan of the body. This was never called a body. This was looked at as even a soup, that you had to come up with the perfect formula to create the perfect soup to eject and suspend and get the hell out of this body. They did not hold up the body as such a treasure and reward and such a precious thing the way we do now, because we don't have no idea what this damn thing is. And we just feel comfortable in the word body, or the word, or the term, or the name of it called the human body. We start to feel comfortable in words, and we don't dissect these words with a metaphysical eye and a occult understanding. We don't read, we don't study, we don't research. This is what you have to do. Okay? Now, also too, you have heaven, once again, which is the crown, the heart, which is earth, and the hell, which is the stomach and the intestines. Hell is also the hole where? The hole in the mouth. This is why there's a book and a movie by Stephen King called The Mouth of Madness, because through this mouth activates the madness of the deities and the demons and the devils and the hells that reside in the lower body. The mouth of madness. So the hell is hole, the hole in the mouth, the hole in the esophagus, the holes through the pipes and tubes of your intestines. That is where hell is. Hell is where the hole is at. The hole to your sexual organ and the hole to your anal canal or your rectum. This is where hell releases itself or shows you its face. It shows you its feces. See? It can only show you its face through the feces. That's where it interacts with you face to face, or face to feces, feces to face. That's when you get to see the true face or the true force that takes place within the body. So feces, face, force. You eat something, it creates a force, and its force transmorphs into mush, which is a feces, and then you look at it face to face, and you see the feces or the faces of the deity and the grotesque coming out of the gross matter, which is the body. Okay? Once again, tying it back to your so-called diet, which you think is so precious. I'm on a good diet. This is my diet. I follow this diet. Do you even know what diet means? Where it derives from, the etymology of the word, the origin of the understanding of the word diet. Okay, this is not judging, this is just sharing. I'm sharing something with you because I am a studious researcher. I study. And I've been doing this for over 17 years now, almost half of my life. Okay. Let you know again, you are you. When you say, oh, the devil and this and that, it's another line in doorway. Oh, I'm not the devil, I'm not this, I'm not that. Yes, you are. You are the ruler of hell. You are the prince of darkness because you are the pristine. The prince is the pristineness of the darkness, which is the light of the darkness, or the sharpness of the darkness, or the clarity of the darkness, or the quality of the darkness, or the fine tuning of the darkness. You are the prince of darkness because everything that's in your body right now is going through dark energy transformation. There is no light inside of this human biological vehicle besides your soul, which resides on the bottom of the gastrointestinal tract. But that's a whole nother conversation. I have another video I'm putting out called Where is Heaven and Hell? And that's going to be touching upon in relation with this video that I'm talking about now. It's going to tie right into it so perfectly to make perfect sense if you have common sense. So you are the ruler of hell. You are the prince of darkness or the lord of hell. Lord of hell or lord just means the lowered whole. The lord of hell means the lowered whole or the whole which lowers or the lowest whole. The sex organ and the anal canal, the rectum. The top hole, the mouth, the ears, and the nose. You are the lord of hell. You are the lord, the Lord of the lower hole and the Lord of the higher hole. Okay? Where demons and deities reside within. They reside within this body, not within your being, just within this body. And they keep you here to pursue the agenda of their nature. The nature that exists here in this physical dimension. Okay? Next line in doorway is, down here, you have a whole lower body confederation of sentient confederates. Sentient means something which is so minute, so micro, so nano, but it is intelligent and it is conscious. When I'm talking about deities, the word diet tying to the word deity, or diets and dietary and deity. Deities are conscious things. They are live things. I'm not going to say alive, but they are live things. They are conscious things. They are intelligences which reside inside of this intelligent being or this intelligent brain or body. Because once you understand intelligent and intelligence, these are two different things. Intelligent is in the brain. Intelligence is that which is beyond this physical realm. Something which is prior to it. Okay? So, down here in the hell, in the duat, in the amenta, behind the skin of the omentum, you have a whole lower body confederation of sentient confederates that are called, maybe you know these names or you get familiar with these names, you probably know these names. These sentient confederate conscious entities are called bacilli, bacteria, bacterium, organisms, microbes, nanos, just to name a few. This is what the deities are. These are the names of the deities, or the recognizing of these deities, or the recognizing of these intelligences. And these are where they reside. They are the bacilli, the bacteria, the bacterium, the microbes, the nanos, these organisms, which is why they organize within your organs. Okay? These microorganic entities hold counsel within separate organizations called your organs. These organizations that they hold counsel in are your organs. Why do you think they're called organs? Because these are certain organizings. And these organizings are taking place from counsel being held by the sentient, by a very nuclei sentient intelligence, which is a sentient confederation inside of your lower body, inside of your hell, inside of your duat, which is the end product of your diet. Okay? There's already a specific deity organization in that section of the body. And they are all conscious. But when I say conscious, they are conscious as their self. We, you, me, we are conscious of ourself. Now, there's a big difference between being conscious as and being conscious of. Being conscious as is a program, is a cycle that does not know how to find its way out of that cycle. Being conscious of itself means I can see the cycle. I'm somewhere that can see the cycle while this cycle is cycling. And the cycle are the deities that are carrying out the agenda of their program from their master, the demiurge, the creator of all physical things, or the creative intelligence of all physical things and all physical illusions. So it's conscious as itself. We are conscious of ourselves. We can shine light on that cycle and turn that cycle into a spiral. See, spiral is more ancient than a circle. The spiral shape is way more primal than a circle. The circle is madness. The spiral means you can escape the circle and get into a bigger, or you can go deeper, innate, which is what they call spiritual understanding, or the nuclei intelligence. But a circle is just the same damn thing. It's the same running around. It's the dog chasing his tail, or the rabbit chasing the carrot tied on top of his head around the track. Circle, a lap. So it's conscious as itself. We are conscious of ourselves, which is why I'm able to hold this conversation, which is why I'm able to identify and recognize what this damn body is and what's going on inside of it, because I'm conscious of myself. I can see it. It can't see me. I know of it. It doesn't know of me. It only knows of itself. And it only can function as the nature and the program which it was given to program as. It is a program. I am a programmer. It is a program. I am a deprogrammer. It is a program. I am a reprogrammer. Which is why they say go into your subconscious mind and reprogram yourself. Frankenstein yourself how you want to be. But once again, no matter where you go, whatever diet you consume, whatever diet you're on, whatever you're doing, you are still victim to the demiurge and the deities. We're still here to have this experience called life in a human body, being a human being. These are all titles which don't mean a damn thing. It just makes you feel comfortable in the titles. And therefore you seek no further, because you should say, I am that. I am just human. This is just a body. And this is just life. And you seek no further because you have a title or a label on it. Go beyond the title, the name, and the label, and you will find something deeper beyond it, which where it itself derived from and protruded from. Okay? We are conscious of ourselves. It is conscious as itself. Now, these deities, or the intelligence of the deity from the demiurge, they first arrive as influence in your thought forms. This is how you think. I want to eat differently. I'm gonna exercise now. I'm gonna do that now. I'm gonna go there now. I'm gonna take care of this shit tomorrow. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this tonight. They come as a thought form first before they turn into a diet. I don't eat that no more. I only eat this. That's a thought form. That's a deity seeking to anchor itself, seeking to feed itself, to anchor itself once again in this grotesque machine of gross matter, which is what we call a body, to keep you grounded and anchored with the demiurge as your umbrella, to keep you and make sure that you stay in this physical reality for as long as possible, to work its agenda out and feed its purpose. Okay? So they first arrive and influence in your thought forms, and then turn into an appetite in the lower body. This is where you get apep again. Ape, apep, ape, appetite, peptide, molecule, protein, nutrient, mineral, diet. Okay? They first arrive as influence in your thought forms and then turn into an appetite in the lower body. As thought forms first, because the deities first hold court. You gotta understand this. They arrive as thought forms first. Now, certain sections in the body weren't called these names by mistake. They were called these names on purpose. So that which has that one person, that being that has a deeper understanding of things, can even look at the name of the organs and glands and things in their body and can understand a more deeper, esoteric, metaphysical, occult point of view from it. Now, I'm saying that to say this before I say this. They first arrive as thought forms because the deities first hold court. Now remember, they hold council, and they're a confederation which holds council in organizations called your organs down here. But they arrive as a thought form at first because it's the brain which holds thoughts. Thinking is of the mind, thought is of the brain. Understand the difference. They arrive as thought forms in the brain, and they hold court here before they hold council and confederation and organization. They have to hold court here. And they arrive as thought forms because they first hold court in the four cortexes of the brain. The four cortexes of the brain are the frontal lobe, parietal lobe, temporal lobe, and occipital lobe. The four cortexes, or the four courts. It's holding court in your brain. The left brain and right brain hemisphere is like the judge and the attorney. See, or the lawyer and the defendant, or the whatever you call that, the one being accused and the state, whatever. It's holding court to hold judgment, and when it makes a final call on what's happening, it goes down and joins the confederation. It goes down and holds council within the confederation and now organizes you in a different matter, in a different vibration. So then now you become trapped more in another dimension. And you are a multi-dimensional being trapped in this one damn dimension of thought and way of thinking and way of eating. Or diets. Doesn't matter what you eat or how you eat, you are still trapped under the deity and the demiurge. Okay? You are not special. So they first arrive as thought forms because the deities first hold court in the four cortexes of the brain. And then after they come to their judgment, they secrete something called subiculum. And subiculum is what is secreted from there after it receives the proper attention and action from you and your intention into the cortices that trickle into the bloodstream. So it goes from the four cortexes into and it secretes from there into cortices. So it goes from cortexes into the cortices. So it's going from court to court. It's holding court again and it's holding court again as thought forms in your brain before it trickles down the bloodstream. Into the cortices that trickle into the bloodstream to form a surrounding structure around the external membrane of the organs. Once the mind is fixed, the deity is organized. Okay? The next line in doorway is, this is not a human body. This is an upper and lower system or biological sentient institution of inevitable worship and devotion. You worship this damn thing. No matter how conscious you are, how spiritual you are, you can be both things simultaneously because you're going to worship these deities. You're going to be devoted to these deities. You know why? Because you think a baby is pretty and a baby is cute. You know why? Because you think nature is beautiful. You know why? Because you like your own image. You know why? Because you like the way that food tastes. Or you love the way that liquor or wine tastes. You love how that smoke feels when you inhale that shit in your lungs. You like how pretty she looks, how handsome he is. You like these clothes that you're wearing. You love these stones that you're wearing. You like your hair. You like how beautiful and graceful an animal moves. You love how pretty the sky is and how beautiful the sun shines and how pretty it is at night with the moon. The sun and the moon, this is why even sun and moons are gods, because you worship them. Worshiping just means acknowledging the allureness of them. Becoming enchanted by its presence. That's a form of worshiping a deity. So you see, don't fight it. It's not nothing negative or positive, bad or good. That's left and right brain hemisphere. That's the hell. That's the illusion. That's garbage. It's neither here nor there. You just accept where you're at and how you function and operate in this body here in this third density, third dimensional realm that we call life, which is nothing but an illusion. It's nothing but Maya. It's nothing but Gaia or Gaia. That's keeping you here to have an experience as the existence of intelligence that you are, the transcendent nature that you truly are. Okay? But it has to keep you anchored in here. It has to keep you into it. It has to keep you entertained. Like while you go to somebody's house and they have good hospitality. They have to be polite and courteous and respectful so that you remain there in that house or in that institution or in that place or in that company or in that business. They cater to you, and that is a form of keeping you there. And in return or in turn, that is a form of you worshiping and being devoted to them without you even knowing, without you even agreeing to do it. You are doing it and you are being it. Whether you know it or not, whether you want to or not. Even killing yourself or committing suicide, you're still being devoted to a certain kind of desire. Devotion, desire, and worship is of the deical nature. It is a nature of a deity. So see, this word diet goes in many different understandings beyond food and eating. Doesn't mean shit, doesn't mean nothing. Okay? And these worshiping and devotions, they come as cravings, hungers, appetites, binges. This is the worship and the devotion that you are being and giving to these deities. That is, in turn, keeping this demiurge afloat, keeping this demiurge umbrella over you. Okay? This body is a hunger machine. It's a feeding deity. When hunger is controlled in the lower system, it seeks hunger in the upper system, i.e. the brain and or mind, because whether you like it or not, deity will be served. Deity will be worshipped, and deity will be the one that you are being devoted to, and you will devote to it. You have no other choice. Doesn't matter. You love something, think something is beautiful, and something always catches your attention and captivates you and amazes you. That is deity. That is a part of the whole demiurge. That is your diets your mental diet, and your physical diet. I already said that the stomach growling and roaring, the hunger moans are the examples of deities or entities battling for supremacy, battling for the supreme one, the supreme being, which is you. They're battling for your attention. They're battling for your intention. They're battling for your choice and decision to keep them relevant, pardon me. You are here in this life to worship the body and brain's purpose, and you will one way or another. Everything you think and do in the body and for the body is a worshiping to the deity in one form or another. These unconscious forms or actions of worships are what you call exercise, meditation, being a vegetarian, being a vegan, being a carnivore, intercourse, love, lust, etc. You are serving deity, no matter what. These are all deities that become worshipped in one way or another. These are your diets. These deities are your diets. You have a sexual diet. You have a food diet. You have a thinking diet. These are your dietary behaviors. So your deity is your dietary behaviors, or your dietary behaviors is a deity or deities that you are worshiping. The catch is that you utilize these human devices and human activities to transcend beyond them. That's the only way you can become free from the bounds of them. So you have to go through them, regardless. You have to go through this thing called life. You have to go through this thing called time. You have to go through this thing called age to transcend beyond it. There is no way around it. Okay? So whatever diet or deity that you are on, and that you are following or you are worshiping or you are serving has to be worshipped and has to be served in order to come once again in contact with your true transcendental nature. That has nothing to do with the demiurge or the deity or this illusional reality that we are in, which isn't real. Next line in our doorway is a lot of tales, stories, folklores, and mythologies are really descriptions of microscopic events and nano events that take place within the body, brain, and mind, not outside of you somewhere. The Big Bang, you got the Big Bang. The Big Bang is known as birth. When the sperm hits the egg, there's a bang that occurs. They're talking about this Big Bang in the cosmos, the universe, the atmosphere. No, the Big Bang is actually before the trimester stages come, before the gamete, zygote, and embryo create the formation. Right after conception, when the sperm hits the egg, there's a Big Bang which occurs inside of the womb of the woman. That's the Big Bang. The story of the Big Bang. The story of the Enuma Elish, which is a flooding. This is known as the flooding of the water of the woman, the flooding of the gates, the flooding of the blood throughout the system, the moving of the blood throughout the system. These tales called the Big Bang, Enuma Elish, tales that we hear in biblical or religious, spiritual tales, wars in heaven. Right? The wars in heaven is talking about the wars that you are at with your mind and your brain. The wars in hell, or hellish wars, which happens here within the gut, within the stomach, within the intestines. The sending of angels, right? The sending of the seven angels of God from heaven, or the sending of the seven angels from heaven are the seven chakras in the system, in the body. The seven chakras, the seven spinning wheels, the seven melanin clusters, the seven chambers within the body, the seven chakras, the seven angels which were fell from heaven. The battle for supremacy, Star Wars, the movie Star Wars. This can go a few different directions, but it's more of an internalization. You internalize these stories, you internalize these folklores, you internalize these tales, you internalize these mythologies. This is what a true transcendent, omnipotent intelligence does. Not a god, because a god is a deity. There's gods down here. When I say deity, you also connect to the word God, because God is a deity, which is why remember, What is microcosmic is projected as a macrocosmic behavior. What is a microcosmic biological event taking place is projected as a macrocosmic human behavior. The same way we worship deity in our stomach and our chemicals and our biology is the same way we worship some damn God out there. Because remember, biology, psychology mimics biology, biology mimics psychology. So this is why you have to be very aware and very conscious of how you're thinking and how you're living your life. The same way we worship things down there is the same thing we worship something out there that we think is out there and ain't shit out there. Star Wars, Lord of the Rings. Once again, the seals, Lord of the Seals, the rings inside of you. Harry Potter, which is nothing but, ancient Egyptian gods and deities that they talk about. Harry is nothing but Heru, and Potter is nothing but Ptah. So Harry Potter is actually Heru Ptah. Heru is the rising of the new, Ptah is the builder. One of the definitions of each. So it's the rising builder. You're building off of your rise. Okay? So Harry Potter, Stories of Ghouls and Goblins, the movie Osmosis Jones with Bill Murray. There was a whole damn gathering of creatures that were biological and chemical that was happening inside of his body, inside of his pharynx, inside of his larynx. He was sneezing, he was blowing his nose, he was sick, and they were showing all these different mucuses and muci intelligences that were happening within his body. And these sentient intelligences were given voices, characters, names, and they were just, there was a lot of things going on in his body, which is why it's called osmosis. Osiris, Osmosis, Jones, Osmosis Jones, a movie about a whole thing happening inside of a person's body. The movie Ant-Man, he turns into this micro thing that goes beyond anything tangible. How we see sound, he became so micro and so nano, he's seen sound. He didn't hear it, he's seen waves of sound. He's seen atoms and molecules. He became so nano and so lost in this nowhere world or this nowhere land, which is once again the nano intelligence. Dante's Inferno. That book, Dante's Inferno, was about the Inferno. Anything dealing with the Inferno deals with gas, and gas is the gastrointestinal tract, the gastric acid, the phosphoric acid inside the body, inside the stomach, or the stomach on the right side. The 12 gates. This is Egyptian understanding. 12 gates, once again, that was dealing with the night and day, because you have the 12 gates and the 12 gates. 12 gates of the sun, the 12 gates of the moon, which is the 12 hours of the sun, the 12 hours of the moon, and the biological effect, the astrological and biological effect that it had within the body and the mind of the being having that experience. Once again, the 7 levels of hell, the 7 chakras, which is known as La Espiritus and Tranquilis from a spiritual system called Palomayombe in the Congo, which is mid-Africa or mid-Alkebalon. The Congo tribe, yeah. And of course, the 7 angels that fell from heaven, got that already, the 7 chakras. Okay. Internalize everything. The next line in Odowe is, what we call life is a constant worshiping and a devotion to different patterns and facets of deity behavior, or the dietary behavior that keeps us, i.e., when I say us, the body and brain, functioning and operating in a well manner on this present physical plane of existence. We would not be able to function and operate without them. In this present reality, we wouldn't be able to operate or function without them. We are a live emanating series of one dichotomy to the other, from one addiction to the next, from one passion to the other, from one desire to the next desire, from one deity after another deity. So we're going from deity to deity, from deity to deity, from deity to deity, from diet to diet, from diet to diet, from diet to diet. You cannot find your way out of this routine. It's not going to happen. It is an impossibility here in this physical realm. No matter what you do, you are serving deity. You are serving its physical purpose. Um, from one influence to the next, yes, from one addiction to the next, from one passion to the other, from one desire to the next desire, deity after deity, from one influence to the next influence. This body is trapped within a 360-degree intelligence, a cycle which swallows itself within its own circle. For the exiting assistance of one out of their body, out of their God vehicle, to suspend from their deity collection or cadre of deity, eventually, to leave this damn body and this damn realm of the demiurge and the deities, which are feeding off of us. They're feeding off of us, off of this body. Consuming, ingesting, inhaling, and injecting within the body is once again the consuming and transforming of deity into deity influence. Because it influences you to eat more, to inject more people through drugs, or to consume more. And you breathe when you inhale and you exhale, and then you're inspired again to inhale again. It's keeping you here. First is ingestion, and then there's digestion. Life forms go inside the body to die again. Once that occurs, the spirit and soul is released within that same biological atmosphere, and the deity appears. This is why you are known. There's a mythological creature or a spiritual understanding of the god Amit, and your diet is Amit. You are the deity Amit. The Amit is an ancient Cometian god who is the devourer of the dead. You devour dead foods. I don't care how pretty it looks, how nice it is, how good it smells, the color is shining bright and vibrant. It doesn't mean anything to that degree because you are eating the soul of it. You are eating the spirit of that plant or that cow or that pig or that grain. See, it doesn't mean that anything pleasant is going on. You are known as Amit. We were known as Amit. Once again, an ancient Cometian god or ancient Egyptian god who was the devourer of the dead. You consume and devour dead things, whether plant or animal. What does that say about this damn system? According to the understanding, when the person died, the soul would travel to the hall of two truths where it would be judged. The hall of two truths are the smaller intestine and the larger intestine, to be digested for eternity. Also, the whole of two truths are once again the duo, which is the duodenum, the two wholes or the dual nature of chemicals intertwining, both food and gastric acid. So, see, I'm tying mythology and spirituality and spiritual gnosis, primal gnosis, into the biological aspect, which is things that are happening inside of this body, which is not ours, which was something that we are borrowing here. We're borrowing this thing called the body. We are body snatchers. We snatch this body to have an experience here. And in order to have an experience here, you have to be Amit. No matter how pretty you look, how nice you think you are, it doesn't mean nothing. You are not here, as a matter of fact. My body is here, but my mind, my spirit is not here. It's elsewhere. I transcend beyond this, and I'm never really fully here completely and totally. A portion of me is here because I have to have an experience. But my true nature, my transcendental nature, does not exist here on this third dimensional plane, and it can't. Okay, so next line in Odowa is not much left. The attacking and polluting of food, water, and air are biological micro attacks to create micro wars inside of the microwaves of your body's energy and its biology. For what? To create a nuclear explosion, to create another deity or other deities for the being to bow down and to serve, even if the serving does not serve your best interest at all. And addictions, sicknesses, illnesses, and ailments, which are all different formations of deities, appear as the ultimate result and common goal of the transpire. There's no way around it. It's the natural ways of the body and the natural ways of the brain. In this dimension, you are going to worship a deity regardless whether voluntarily or involuntarily. It's going to happen. It's inevitable. You can either deify something or that something will deify itself naturally from things like habit, routine, repetition, cycle. The more you go back to it and keep it in motion, the more and more you sink deeper into its circle and into its cycle, which is why you become psycho. You become a maniac. You have a psychoschism, psychopath, a psychopathic nature. Because in some way, one way or another, you have created cycles. Doesn't matter. You eat vegetables all day, that's a cycle. You're psychotic. You eat meat all day, that's a cycle. You're psychotic. You are serving deity with the agenda for demiurge. Okay? It's just an example. The more live it becomes, the stronger the influence of it becomes. It's just an example of energy seeking to become entity. In other words, the person who was once conscious of their self soon becomes conscious as their self in some way, one way or another. Even though you're still conscious of yourself, you still have to be conscious as yourself because you have to be a program some way, in some form. You are God stuck between demiurge and deity. You are God serving deity between three semi-hells. You got three semi-hells. What are these three hells? These are three semi-hells of the demiurge. One is the brain. The second hell is the tongue. The third hell is the sexual organ. These three semi-hells you are given in this vehicle to serve the purpose and the agenda of the demiurge, to keep the deity present. So once again, you are God stuck between demiurge and deity. And you are stuck between three semi-hells: the brain, the tongue, and the sexual organ. The brain with the left and right brain hemisphere, and if you get caught in this side picking and choosing, the brain is the good and bad, right and wrong, pure and evil, heaven and hell, God and devil. The tongue is pleasing, savoring, delight. Sexual organ is pleasure, satisfaction. So the brain, tongue, and sex organ are the three semi-hells that you are God as given in this physical vehicle to further the purpose and to serve the agenda of the demiurge and the deity. Okay. If you always find yourself constantly protecting an identity or lifestyle, I only eat vegetables, I only eat meat, I don't live that way because that's bad and I am good, then you are severely worshiping a deity. If you go to any extreme, you are severe. You're severely worshiping something, whether you know it or not. Any extreme. This is why it was wise to stay in the middle, to walk the middle path, to stay in the middle, to not veer too far to the left, not veer too far to the right, but to experience both left and right from a middle foundation, and not to ever go off your middle foundation. Always play your square, remain in your circle, find your center of power. This is why in ancient texts and ancient scripts, the priesthood kept reminding you that you are a chaos being. Chaos being is another way of looking at the word transcendence, or the transcendent one. You are a chaos being, which means you fall to no order. You play with order, you organize order in a certain manner, for your own being and your own wellness while you're here in this physical life, dealing with survival and things of that nature, but you don't fall victim to order. Order is something that you play with as the chaos being that you are. I know there's deities. I know there's demiurge. I know that these are gods that I am worshiping involuntarily. And I feel I have nothing for it. I don't care about it. I'm not mad at it. I'm not happy for it. I'm not pro it. I'm not con it. I don't care. I just know how things function here. And I'm content with that. Just knowing that I am a chaos being. And I always transcend beyond this. This is why ancient texts and scripts, the ancient priesthood or the underground hidden priesthood, always kept reminding you that you are a chaos being so that you know first that you are untouchable, number one, and secondly, that you can always come out of any pattern, routine, habit, or cycle when you wish to, choose to, or desire to remind you that you are an ultimate transcender beyond all things tangible, including your body. Okay? Now, when we see in heaven and hell and the earth, heaven, hell, earth. Heaven and hell only exist on earth. Therefore, earth is the home of both heaven and hell. This is why we don't fall victim to, oh, there's a heaven somewhere, or there's a hell somewhere, because, they're two separate things. So that's over there, and hell is over there, and heaven is over there, and the angels are over there, and the demons are over there. No, they're one damn thing. They function together. They are connected. They are a simultaneous intelligence. They are synchronized. They're one intelligence. It's not a place. It's a way of thinking. It's a frame of mind. It's also a biological presence as well as an elemental presence, as well as an energy, as well as in force, as well as principles. These are not people and places and things. The heart, which is the earth, pumps blood throughout the body, the hell, and the brain, which is close to the heavens, the mind. So you see, earth is mommy and daddy and supporter and provider of heaven and hell, which is why heaven and hell only exist here on earth in your human body and your human brain. It does not exist nowhere. There is no location. It's only a way of thought, a way of thinking. Like rich and poor is a way of thinking. It's not something, it's a way of thinking. You're not poor because you are poor. You're poor because you think poor. See? And that is a deity. That is a diet. That is one of your dietary habits. That is one of your deities that you worship. You worship the deity of poor. Okay? Same thing goes with rich or wealth. The next line on doorway is both heaven and hell function and operate together. The brain can't exist without the stomach and intestines. The stomach and intestines cannot exist without the brain. Okay? This is why the brain and the intestines are the same damn Duramatter. They're the same damn color. Why are these things the same color? Because it's the same damn thing. This is where you think heaven exists, and this is where you think hell exists. Or you think hell exists down there and heaven exists up here. Why do you think heaven is up here? Because this is the heaven realm. Why do you think hell exists down there underneath the floor? Because this is hell. And where are you? You're on earth. Right? You're in a human body having a human life as a human being. It's very important you understand this. It's very important you get this. Because this, like I said, this gives reference to the next video I'm putting out is where is heaven and hell? Where is the God and devil? And I show you ace, deuce, and tray. I break it down ace, deuce, and tray for you where all these things are at. And as you see what we're touching upon now, you can pretty much grasp where you know I'm going to go with it. And you pretty much know where it's at. Okay? But we'll get more deep into the next video. That which affects your stomach affects your brain. That which affects your brain affects your stomach. If you want to go into meditation right now and you want to do yoga, you want to go into your mind and clear your mind. You can't clear your mind having diarrhea. See? Or even if your stomach is empty, you can't think too clear because you're hungry. See? So both affect each other. Heaven affects hell, hell affects heaven. And you're just in the middle being the witness upon these two transactions. Um, we are synthesized realities within synthesized dimensions and the synthesized dimensions within synthesized realities, which is once again why I brought the bacilli, the microbes, the organisms, the pathogens, the bacterium. You have something called nanoarchaeum. You have something called mycoplasmisium, nano prions. And I'm talking about things going micro and micro and micro and micro and nano and nano and nano and nano and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller into its nothingness. You see, it's showing you its true nature. You go from micro to nano, and from nano you get yada, then you get zeta, then you get exa, then you get peta, then you get tera, then you get giga. And we're talking about smaller and smaller and smaller. Then you get kilo, then you get hecto, then you get deca, then you get pico, then you get femto, then you get atto, then you get zepto, then you get yocto. This is the synthesizing intelligence. And every name that I've just said is a deity. This is why you will never find them. They are so minute. You will never be able to identify them. This is why they lay so hidden, so latent, and so dormant inside of your system. Which is why you fall victim to addictions and obsessions so quickly out of nowhere. Because you're working for its purpose. Not the other way around. Not in this realm. Okay? And these come from, habits and stuff like that, events that took place inside your life, which is called episodic, and facts and information, which you come across, which are called semantic. And this is within the brain, which is in your learning process, your memory process, which is the hippocampus, which is connected to the amygdala, cerebellum, and things of that nature. The next line in doorway is, whatever diet you're on just shows whatever internal deity you are worshiping and are devoted to. For meat eaters, animals were seen as worshipped and depicted as deities. This is where you get the ancient Egyptian animal-headed, human-bodied, or human-headed animal-bodied creatures. For meat eaters, animals were seen as worshipped and depicted as deities. For vegetarians or plant eaters, plants and plant life were seen as worshipped and depicted as deities as well, aka fairies. This is where the fairies come from. They come from the plant kingdom. Okay? Sub-deities, which are physical representations, you eventually create. So by consuming the sub-deities meaning the plants or the animals you eat, the flesh, whatever it may be, the meat of the coconut or whatever's going on that you eat, the sub-deities, which are physical representations of a spiritual reference, you eventually create a prime deity, the metaphysical reference that begins to reside within the system of the body, with the body soon becoming the kingdom which it rules. It rules this shit. You don't rule this. You just switch from one dichotomy to the next, from one behavior to the next, from one habit to the next, from one desire to the next. Once you understand this reality, this reality is based upon two dual natures, void and fulfillment. Void and fulfillment. Each fulfillment will become void and each void will become fulfilled and vice versa. It just keeps going back, which is why you eat something and you shit and piss it out and it becomes empty again, and you eat something again with your diets. Your diet keeps this void and fulfillment going. A diet, void and fulfillment. Diet, fulfillment, then void. Diet, fulfillment, then void. You have a lot of shit on your mind, fulfillment, and then you clear your mind, void. Have a lot of shit on your mind, fulfillment, and then you clear your mind, void. Void and fulfillment, fulfillment and void. Left, right, up and down, left and right side of the body. 2 eyes, 2 arms, 2 ears, 2 lips, 2 legs, 2 testicles, 2 ovaries, 2 breasts. You see, 2 hemispheres of the brain. You're in the middle. Enjoy the damn ride. Enjoy the life. And remember, your biology is a reflection of psychology. I already said that. You begin to think in its ways and feed it. This deity. You begin to think in its ways and you begin to feed this deity, because ultimately it seeks to take you a place or trade places with you. Once again, like I said, it's conscious as itself. It's not its intention like it has an intention, because it doesn't have an intention. It's just a program. But if you fall victim to the program as the deprogrammer and reprogramming nature that you truly are, then you fall victim to the illusion. You actually think there's a hell. You actually think there's a heaven. You think there's some good people and some bad people. You think something is pure and evil. You think there's a God somewhere and the devil somewhere. You fell victim to the illusion, which means that you may have to reincarnate maybe 5 to 8 more times before you actually transcend beyond this Maya and illusion between the demiurge and deity. It's going to keep you here because you think that it is real. And it needs you to believe that it is real to sustain its realness here. Okay, and this is why you create an emotion for heaven and hell and God and devil and good and bad. And this emotion is a chemical reaction which happens and transpires within the body. This is why you remain body bound and brain bound. So even this is why you get the understanding of amit. This is why even wines and liquors are called spirits, because you're not drinking liquor, you're not consuming wine, you're consuming spirits, you're amit. When you eat something, you consume the spirit and soul of that something. A movie of reference is called Ravenous. Just check it out on your own when you get a chance. It's called Ravenous, but this is like the understanding or the spiritual supposed understanding of carnivores. They eat something to take on the soul of that something. Okay, or how that was at one time. The word ate, like, oh, I just ate something just now. Ate, ATE, is the number 8. So I ate something, which means that you have let it go down to the house, which now is going to find its way back up to the heavens. You ate something, which is the same thing as this. Sand clock, or I forgot how you call this damn thing. You know what I'm talking about. See, it's dropping down. It's the number 8. As above, so below. As above, so below. As within, so without. So you ate something. See? Now it's the food is going down into the Amensa, into the hell, and it's gathering within the Amensa. When this is full, this becomes empty. As above, so below. As below, so above. Now, the deity which we're now deriving in the stomach are now influencing the mind as an upside down thing. So this is a back and forth thing. You cannot escape it in this physical reality. This is your diet. This is your deity. These are your dietary habits. So you ate something means that you became the something which is the number 8. You became the as above, so below. The as within, so without. The uniting or connecting of the upper and lower. The effect and influence of both systems upon each other to create unison with each other. To eventually eliminate you and your consciousness of yourself out of the equation, out of its equation. When the body dies, the soul goes through a divine digestion. Your diet is the choice of lifestyle of how you choose to die. This is a diet. You're choosing how you want to die. You want to die by eating vegetables. You want to die by eating meat. You want to die by eating both. Whatever. That's your diet. That's your business. But understand that is a deity. And it's serving your purpose to die. Your diet is your way of dying. To die what? To die out of the body. Because only the body dies. We do not die. We don't experience death just like we don't experience life. We are just witnessers of an experience unfolding before our very eye. Not eyes, but eye. Okay? And these things keep you here and anchored here. The deity keeps you here and anchored here. This is the last doorway. The deity keeps you here and anchored here by these things. This is why you can't escape, because all of you experience this, and all of you are experiencing this now. Yesterday, you're going to experience tomorrow. You experienced it in your life. You're going to experience more of it. It just is what it is. But this is what keeps you here in this illusion, this Maya, between the demiurge and the deity's purpose to serve its illusional agenda, to keep you here. This is what it is. This is what you are. It is fun, joy, enjoyment, happiness, pleasure, satisfaction, amazement, beauty, love, lust, flavor, discovery, explore, suspense, surprise, luxury, convenience, comfort, anticipation, excitement, addiction, obsession, identity, personality, self-importance, desire, honor, worship, belief, popularity, fame, on and on and on. You cannot find your way out of this. This is the maze that exists here. The demiurge and deity hide you from your true self. This is why your consciousness and your awareness is a threat to its nature. Because then you find out that you are the true transcender. You find out your true beingness, which is a transcendent. You are a transcender. A transcender definition of it is something which is unproven, something which is unsubstantiated. You are unproven. You just know that you are, but you can't prove that you are. You just know it because you are here. You are present. The present moment, the here-ness, the now-ness is your only evidence. But it's still unproven. But you are. That is your true nature, a transcendent being, the visionary, the metaphysic, the conjectural. You're not a god. You are not a god. Unto yourself, you are not a god. So other people may see you as gods and see you as a god over there. Wow, he's a god or she's a god. They're holding themselves up as a god. But they don't even understand what that means. They see you as a god because they worship you. So you may be seen as a god to other people, or things may be seen as a god to other people. But your true nature is not a god because you're not a deity. A deity is a parasite. Another way of looking at it, it's a parasite. It's feeding off of you. And don't get me wrong, if you look at it the other way around, you're also feeding off of this reality too as well. So you may be a deity in that way of understanding, but as far as what they talk about, God and goddess and all this other, you're not a god. You're a transcender. You have a very unique, rare, transcendent nature, which is prior to this experience and reality, and that which will be after this experience and this reality. Because if you were truly the human body, then why is your ultimate mission in life to leave it? So once again, I ask you, what is a diet? Not what is your diet. What is a diet? Am I as I am? Most importantly, as you are. Let you know ahead of time, I have a whole library of things. We got books like the Gospel of Thomas, things that are talking about Gnostic messages or a Gnostic school of thought, or the School of Thomas, which was Gnostic thought. You have books like this called African Myths and Legends. They also put you on to a lot of different things about mythology and creatures and sentient creatures that reside within the body. You have something called the Emerald Tablets. This is about 36,000 BC. The knowledge in here is like 36,000 years old, and it's from Thoth and the Atlanteans. You also have things here called the Art of Nonconformity. I'm showing you books that are catered to you going inside of yourself, to you internalizing your reality, not externalizing, but internalizing, getting the esoteric understanding of this reality, not the exoteric, but the eso, not the exo. Okay? You also have books like the Kabbalah. These are references I'm giving to go and understand the 10 Sephirah. You have books like the Zohar, and you have the other books of that nature. So these are understandings of things, books or references that help you understand the internalization. You have Liber Leviathan, and this serpent in the front shows other serpents or other callings of certain serpents in here, to call out the serpent, to call out the deity which resides within you, which resides within your stomach, which is your intestine, which is your dragon, which is your lizard, which is your reptile that resides within the stomach. These are entities and dragons and creatures which reside within hell, which reside within the omentum, behind the omentum. Okay, the lining of the stomach. You have books like Why Darkness Matters to understand the intelligence of darkness within the dark body. Internalize this gnosis and this knowledge and this information and this wisdom. Internalize it. You have books called Man. This is one of my favorite, The Grand Symbol of the Mysteries by Manly P. Hall. It's called Man. Okay? And this is all about internalizing. Once again, these are just things to internalize things. You're not externalizing a damn thing. You're internalizing. See? It's very esoteric. It's pointing you inward rather than pointing you outward. You have books called The Undefeated Mind. This is how you can begin to master your mind or begin mastering your mind, because you're not going to master shit. You're going to start mastering. You're not going to learn something. You're constantly learning. You're constantly mastering. You're constantly practicing. Okay? You also have books called Against the Gods, which once again are against the deities, or tales, mythological tales that are actually talking about biological events happening within the body, the gods, the deities, the battles, the battling of supremacy within the body and the brain of the human being and the human body. You also have books like the Hermetica, or Hermes Trismegistus, or the Corpus Hermetica. It was based on 7 Hermetic laws, vibration, things of that nature. Once again, just internalizing. You want to look for symbolism and sigils, signs, shapes, the miracle of mind dynamics. I'm giving you book references to seek and search on your own for yourself to come more, have a more closer understanding, a more clearer understanding of what I'm touching upon in this video and what I will be touching upon in the next video, going inside the human body, inside the human biology, and the elements and the chemicals. And this is another strong one too, called Portals of Transcendence. This introduces you to your transcendent nature, that you are a transcender, transcending beyond the portals, beyond the seals, beyond the chambers which we are imprisoned within this body, but we have the key to always get out of it. MIAs, just to name a few. I have a whole library. So, what's a diet? Am I as I am, as you are? I'll see you guys next time, and until then, I'll keep you in vision. 1, 0.